This is the last hint I'm giving you, okay?
I
You
know.
said Paul DeJong, okay? Think about that name for a second. Who else has Paul in their name who plays in the Major League Baseball?
I don't know.
You said Paul McCartney earlier. It is not Paul McCartney.
I thought Paul McCartney. He was never really that good at getting on base.
How have you not guessed this yet? Are you
Maybe
kidding?
I don't know who it is.
He plays for the same team as Paul DeJong.
Well,
And his name is Paul.
I don't know.
It's Paul Goldschmidt. Are you kidding me? Oh my
Oh,
god.
you're right. I should have done that.
It just proves my point that Paul Goldschmidt is having a quiet year because you couldn't guess his name. What's going on, guys? My name is Dillard, bringing you back another podcast. Today is podcast The Barnyard, specifically number 28. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Jad. He is in a deep depression. He is literally dead inside. Look at your emotion. Look at your face. You had no emotion. You know what? Let's talk about one thing before we go ahead and dive into the spicy meatball content, as you would be famously known to say. Can you tell me, John? Everybody needs to know this, because I'm going to put this video at the beginning of the video before the podcast actually starts. We need to know, why did you guess Paul DeJong and Paul McCartney before Paul Goldschmidt? We need to know these things.
Because they're like my favorite Pauls. I mean, I can't think of anything else other than like Pope John Paul. I got nothing else for you. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. Paul McCartney. I don't know if he'd have a good OBP, but I'm pretty sure he'd be better than half this Yankee team right now. Paul DeJong. I don't know why, but I posted about him earlier, so I thought Paul DeJong. I totally forgot Paul Goldschmidt exists. It's like you said, no one knows he exists. It's like amazing. I never hear his name.
Yeah, I made that point in the video. I was like, this literally proves my point of why Paul Goldschmidt is having a very quiet yet productive season.
Can we get this dude a Silver Slugger, please? Like, this dude deserves a Silver Slugger. I mean, come on, people. Let's be real.
All right, so now we're going to get to the real spicy content. And the real spicy content, I mean, both of us are dead inside, literally. Have nothing but pretty much negative things to say. There might be a positive or two, but that's about it. Even if there is any positives to name off of, if there's even any silver linings to begin with.
The only positive is there's no more baseball tonight. That's the only positive. We're done. I don't have to suffer through another game.
So let's start with because I thought we'd go maybe like 2 weeks back as far as production is concerned, but we'll go a week back as terms of like diving through each individual series. So let's talk about the Rays series first. The 3-game series against the Rays. The Yankees have been pretty much non-existent all year against the Rays. I understand that the Rays have dominant pitching from not only their starting pitching, but their bullpen. But the Rays have also been hit extremely hard. A lot of people forget this. They have a lot of top-notch relievers, such as Chazro, that are out currently.
They lost to the Marlins today. I mean, how do you lose to the Marlins? I mean, that's tough.
There's at least 3 guys that are out for the season, including Chazro.
More than that, they have a full bullpen and a catcher for them on the IL right now. I mean,
but the thing is, you can't start using injuries for excuses anymore. We did that last year. You can't do that again this year because the Rays are still getting the job done. I mean, you also have extremely underrated offensive hitters such as Brandon Lowe. I know Brandon Lowe wasn't that great against the Yankees, but he's had a really good year. Willie Adames continues to be, he's basically the new Travis d'Arnaud, as in the Yankee killer. You know, our old friend on the Yankees, you know who I'm about to talk about. Do you remember our old friend from the Yankees, who is actually also a Yankee killer with Willie Adames? You know what his name is?
You're not talking about Chris Carter, are you?
No, we're not talking about. I'm talking about G-Man Choi.
I thought we were memeing.
G-Man Choi has literally been Garrett Cole's kryptonite.
G-Man Choi, who is essentially like God mode against Garrett Cole. That guy?
Yes, that guy.
Who literally came into the game hitting 211, but somehow manages to hit upwards of 800 against Garrett Cole?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're right.
That same game that Garrett Cole gave up 4 earned runs.
Kevin Kiermaier
Chi-Man Choi
tripled his home run total in 2 games.
Chi-Man Choi against Garrett Cole that game went 3 for 3. 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 walks. That's crazy. That's insane. Like, you can't have much of a better game than that. Willie Adames, 3 hits. Diaz, 2 hits. Brandon Lowe, like I said, all he did was walk, which, I mean, still, walks are good, but Brandon Lowe wasn't a big initial threat in this series. But I can tell you what was a threat. Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery was a threat to the Yankees. He went .2 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, walked 1, 2 strikeouts.
There was the one cheap one, but there was like 2 home runs and like 2 doubles. I'm like, this isn't going well.
And I'm going to mention Jordan Montgomery's name later because it will become relevant once we talk about the start that Garrett Cole had yesterday, or actually it would be yesterday because it's midnight now, but the last game that they played against the Orioles. We will talk about that in a minute. Pretty much the bottom line against the Rays, the only silver lining, and like I said, there's only going to be like a few positives that I can think about. I don't know about John, but I'm only going to be able to think about a few positives. The one positive I can say is Tanaka went right back at it. I mean, Tanaka didn't have the best start against the Rays the last time out, but he came back out through 6 innings, only 2 earned runs. I was very happy with Tanaka. He did what he needed to do.
Where he threw 60 pitches and then Boone took him out, and then Ottavino was just like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Try to hit this meatball. And then he did. And then we're all like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much I mean, is there anything else you can think about? Because the only thing that I think was positive about that whole series was Tanaka was back to, owning the Rays like we all know and love. Like we all know he does and what he's done throughout his career against the Rays.
This made me sad.
DJ LeMahieu, another multi-hit game, looked good. Voit looked good. Not worried about either of those guys. Urshela had a really good day that game, and then Urshela goes right back onto the IL. Actually, that was the game. This is what we can talk about, John, because I think we'll have different opinions on this. We will have different opinions on this. I don't care. I understand how they score games. I want an inside the park home run for Urshela. That never happens.
No, I don't
give
even
him
want
an inside the park home run.
Give him a triple. How did you give him a double? He was at third base before the guy even threw it in. Who's the error on? The error allows him to get the home. How did he get the third? What do you mean?
Don't listen to him. Just give Urshela an inside the park home run. It never happens.
Really
give it to him.
It was an error to let him go to home. You're like, I got this positive. You know what the positive was? We won a game. That's my positive. That's all I got. They won a game.
And then they went right back to losing and Montgomery doing.
I'm running down the streets with streamers.
And then they went right back to losing game 5-2 with Montgomery just giving up hard hit after hard hit after hard hit just repeatedly. And he gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Not ideal. Not ideal at all.
Credit to them. They have good hitters. Clearly he had nothing, and he had less than nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, he looked dreadful. It looked like his curveball was hanging up in the zone. He couldn't get the fastball up high enough. They weren't chasing the changeup. It was like they had a good plan of attack and executed it. And I mean, he almost got out of it until he didn't. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the weird thing about that game is they hit the 4 runs in the first inning. And this is the part that annoys me, is that we give up the 4 runs in the inning, we get out of the inning, and we're like, okay, it could have been much worse. Bases loaded. It could have been much worse, and it wasn't. But the thing that blows my mind is the fact that we hold them over the next 8 2/3 innings, only giving up 1 more run, and we did nothing. Like, we did nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure that if I took a shot every time I'm listening on the radio and John Sterling comes on, it's like, here we go to the top of the 5th inning. Yankees have yet to get a base runner. I'd have cirrhosis of the liver and I'd be dead by now. How is this team so bad? Every time they go through the first 5 innings without getting a hit, I just want to run. Do something.
And I guess the last thing that we can point out about the Rays is the whole ordeal that happened the second game where everybody thought there was going to be an all-out brawl the third game because of the suspensions that were handed out to Chapman and Boone, which doesn't make any sense to me, and then Cash. I'm actually kind of surprised that Cash didn't receive a suspension that was larger than 1 day, considering he pretty much verbally threatened that he was going to throw at the Yankees. He was like, I have a stable of guys who can throw 95 miles per hour. That's a pretty big threat. I don't remember the last time a manager has ever said that directly.
I understand Boone getting a game suspension, but I thought Cash should have been at least 2 games. I mean, that's silly. Like, essentially, what you're telling me is that Aaron Boone got a suspension because he got thrown out of a previous game, and under suspicion that he threw at somebody. Then they're like, okay, that's a 1-game suspension. But Kevin Cash got thrown out of that other game and threatened players. Like, you're telling me that he just got half of a game suspension for each of those things? How does that make any sense? He should have gotten at least 2 games. And, I mean, Chapman appealed. I mean, I don't think he's going to get it reduced, but, like, I don't think he was throwing at the guy. I mean, he couldn't hit jack shit right now. He's like, the rest of our offense, they couldn't hit their weight right now.
Couldn't hit
weight either.
Couldn't hit their way out of a wet paper bag, as you would say all the time.
And the other thing is I understand, like, they have good pitching staff. I get that. But, like, the problem is the fact that, like, yes, Tyler Glasnow is a good pitcher, but it's not the first time we've played him. They have good numbers against this guy. He has a 5 ERA, and I'm getting excited because Mike Talkman went to second base in the 6th inning off a strikeout, and that's the second base runner we had. Come on!
And I guess what else we can say concerning that whole, beef between Cash and the other team, and I wanted to point this out because I want to know what you think. I think it's incredibly ironic that they're complaining about that whole situation when you forget that the series that they played the Rays in, that 4-game series they played in Tampa Bay, whenever Boone pulled Paxton, their entire dugout was pretty much laughing at Paxton, and Paxton was giving him the death stare. And it's like, you really don't have any room to complain.
Do you want to know how to shut him up?
You win the game. Point blank and simple.
You win.
And that's the thing. It's like,
we can't do that. They can talk whatever shit they want right now. You know why? Because they're the better team. That's why.
But it's still just like was kind of like second grader drama to me because you didn't see the Yankees last year laughing at the opposing pitcher when he gets pulled out. You didn't see what was it Blake Snell getting pulled out of the first inning last year.
Oh, he was bad that start.
You didn't see the Yankees going out and pointing and laughing and pointing fingers like, oh my God, Blake Snell sucks. You didn't do that. You didn't do that.
Blake Snell made a really good comment, and he said, I'm not afraid of playing in the Yankee Stadium right now because Yankee Stadium is not Yankee Stadium without the fans. Like, no one's afraid to play the Yankees right now.
But I think that's the one thing that benefits the Rays is they're so used to playing in their own ballpark where they have only 3,000 fans max.
I mean,
that they can play in any stadium and be a good, solid team. I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but it helps them. It benefits the Rays. You know what I mean? And then,
like, there's no one yelling at them in the bullpen to, like, there's no one there being like, hey, I slept with your mother last night, Blake Snell, or stuff like that. Like, no one's yelling at them like that.
Yeah.
Blake Snell's there, like, I had to talk trash to myself because I had to psych myself out. Like, there's no intimidation factor. They know they're good. And they are good. They have the confidence. But in order to stop them, you have to beat them. And unfortunately, we couldn't seem to do anything at all. Like, do something.
The last thing I will touch base on the fact that, I was almost guaranteeing there was going to be a brawl the last game. Although it didn't even really matter because the Rays showed up in the first inning and did what they needed to do, and they won the game point blank and simple. But here's the thing. Because I told you about this like pretty much after that game happened, and they were claiming that Tanaka threw at him on purpose, and I'm sitting here like the entire night that Tanaka was pitching, his breaking
he absolutely threw at him.
But here's the thing though, all of Tanaka's breaking pitches, the entire time he was getting strikeouts on his breaking pitches were low and inside. It was the entire night. If you looked at a 3D model of all of his pitches, they were low and inside to righties or lefties. He was doing that pitch the entire night.
That was the only 2 fastballs he threw in on anybody. But I'm just saying, like, you look at that setup, and he absolutely threw at him. Like, the first pitch is low inside. You try to get him in the ankles. It doesn't work. So you throw at him right here in the side pocket where his wallet is, and you hit him. He knew he got hit. Look, there's nothing bad about it. Okay, I'm sorry. It happens. You always threw at the guy. Fine, whatever. You move on with your life. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it. But...
And then there's Chapman. I mean, Chapman, pretty much every time that Chapman steps onto the mound, you don't know if he's going to hit some guy in his ribs or not. You don't know if he's going to throw behind the backstop or not. He has no control over that fastball half the time.
Every time Chapman comes on the mound, I'm afraid he's going to walk 3 people in a row. It happens. Like, this guy has no control. But the problem is Chapman loses the benefit of the doubt because, unfortunately, he does have a history of throwing up and into people, a la Andrew McCutcheon. Just saying. Like, it happens. I'm sorry. Like, he loses the benefit of the doubt.
Mm.
But I don't think he was throwing at the guy because there's no damn point. Like,
No.
that's the thing, is you were saying, like, I'm surprised there was no fight. Like, honestly, I'm genuinely surprised that there was no fight because, like you said, the game was a blowout by the end of the first inning. I was expecting there to be bloodshed, but
why would Chapman intentionally hit somebody and put him on base and let the tying run come into play? That makes no sense from any standpoint.
I don't think Chapman's that silly. You know, I think he's reckless, but I don't think he's that silly, and he's never done that. Like, he understands that he has a job to do.
Yeah.
And people go into the fact, they're like, why didn't he speak to the media afterwards? I'm going to be honest with you. I think that was the Yankee clubhouse saying, look, don't go talk to the media. We'll handle this. Because I don't think he'd be that bad of a teammate to put his teammates in a position where they have to now speak on his behalf. Like, if that's the case, that's cowardly, but I don't think that's what he did. I think that the clubhouse was like, look, don't go talk to the media. We'll take care of this. Let it all blow over. I think
and then we go ahead and switch our attention to the Mets, which was only a one-game series because they had to make up the game in Citi Field. It seemed like the Yankees were rolling along. You know, they produced 4 runs in the second inning. As far as I'm concerned, the last 2 weeks,
nothing.
As far as I'm concerned, during the Mets series, during that second inning when the Yankees scored 4 runs, that is probably the last time the Yankees offense has been that productive in a single inning for weeks and weeks and weeks. I can't tell you or remember the last time they were that productive. It was a really good inning. But here's the thing. The Yankees scored 7 runs. I think they scored more than enough runs to win that ball game. This was one of the few occasions where the pitching did absolutely nothing. Jay Happ fell flat.
Trash.
I mean, 4 earned runs, 8 hits, 1 walk. Didn't walk too many people. I think
it's okay. I think it did fine. As a 5-starter, you're giving up 4 runs in 5 innings. You know, you should probably expect to win that game, honestly.
But here's the thing, and I'm becoming very alarmed because you know how big of a Zach Britton fan I am. I'm a huge Zach Britton fan. But this year, Zach Britton has looked like a completely different pitcher than he has pretty much the entire, not even just last year, but his entire career, especially with the Orioles. He looks completely different. And I will say this because I know that you said you're going to say some very, very, very negative things about Gary Sanchez, and I will point this out. He does deserve the flack. Okay, I love Gary Sanchez too, but he needs to step it up. He's been pretty much, other than there was this 2-week strand where his league average of on base percentage and all that were above league average. Yeah. I mean, I'm still trying to defend Sanchez, but he's putting me in a place where it's getting more and more difficult to defend him, which I'm not a strikeout guy, okay?
When you go out and you get a golden sombrero against the Baltimore Orioles, who couldn't get a strike, they couldn't strike in bowling.
But where I was going with that is, you know, I don't really care about strikeouts. Because if I did, then I wouldn't care about the production levels that a guy like Judge or Stanton contributed to this lineup. Yeah, exactly. But the problem is he's doing nothing outside of striking out. Like, that's pretty much seems like the only thing he's been doing recently, and it's just becoming. And I'm going to defend my place. I still believe that he should be starting over Kratz. But, you know, I actually saw this on Twitter the other day. Maybe, you know, Boone should pull a Girardi and be like, okay, I'm benching your ass until you get your shit together type of thing. Like, you need to get it together. You need to be consistent. We can't sit here and keep having you strike out and not producing at the level that you were at beforehand. We know that you're good enough. That's why you're called Scary Gary or Gary is Scary, El Kraken, whatever you want to call him. Everybody knows he has a presence in the box, but he's doing absolutely nothing. Those fastballs up and in, he can't do a thing about it. It's kind of like Mike Ford, where if it's not a fastball up, he can't do anything. It's a breaking pitch, he completely buckles. He can't do anything. We can't have that.
On a breaking ball.
And it's like, you know, going back to the whole thing though, Britton just hasn't looked like himself. Chapman didn't do anything productive, looked lost again. And then Abreu. I was at work, luckily, so I didn't have to deal with it as much. But, you know, the Mets walk it off, and that's the end of the story. I mean,
I have a theory about Britton.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
So, I mean, like, we all remember him as the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, have you seen him close when he was in Baltimore? Do you remember what he did? He was not a strikeout guy. He was a ground ball double play machine.
He's never been a strikeout type of guy.
He's not been a strikeout pitcher. Unfortunately, when you're sitting here, we are right now, where Zach Britton is here in a world where I believe the baseball is still juiced and he's not getting enough break on pitches to actually be effective. He just ends up throwing a 95-mile-an-hour meatball, which, as it turns out, in recent years with the spike in velocity, hitters are much better. They're coming up out of the minors having 24/7. They play guys who throw 100 miles an hour every day. They don't care. It's like lefties on lefties in the minors. These people come up nowadays. They know they're playing lefties their entire career. They don't care. It doesn't bother them. But, like, these guys are conditioned to hit it. They see 95-mile-an-hour fastball, they're all over it. Not to mention the fact that you've got Miguel Andujar, Tyler Wade playing defense right now, and these guys basically look like butchers, like they have no arms, like Jim Abbott, and they've got no idea what they're doing with the baseball. I swear to God, there was one ball hit the Tyra Estrada tonight, and he did nothing with it.
We will talk about that just in a minute. Okay, save those thoughts.
That's my theory about Zach Britton, is that he's the same pitcher he was there. It's just that, unfortunately, in a juice ball era where the baseball is potentially not spinning as much as it used to, versus hitters who are more prepared for velocity, and then they know what they're doing, because he only throws one pitch, because apparently he stopped throwing the breaking ball. He just gets smashed. Like, they know what to expect.
The only thing I will say about
the ball's ending in the outfield instead of being pounded into the ground like it used to.
The only thing I'll say about Britton is that sinker is ridiculous to guard. And I don't think a lot of people understand, like, it doesn't matter who's catching. If it's Gary, if it's Kyle Higashioka, if it's Kratz, that is a hard pitch to block. It is very difficult.
He spikes it like a lawn dart and expects Gary Sanchez to teleport across the plate.
Yeah, it's difficult. The problem is when he's spiking it that many times, it becomes a hazard because you're moving base runners, you're walking too many hitters, and you get that opportunity where you give up a run because you pull a Dylan Betances and it's behind the backstop.
He's naturally wild. That's what his problem is. That's why he was always a ground ball double play pitcher in Baltimore, because he'd always walk a guy and then he'd just get them to hit into a ground ball double play. That's what his game was. Do you know how many times you'd see him that year that he had 53 saves, or like perfect all saves that year? I swear to God, every game he had runners on. He never pitched a clean inning, not a single damn time. It was always runners on, every time. But he'd always get out of it because his ground ball percentage was 70%, and the ball would never leave the infield. But he's not the same pitcher he was anymore. I don't think the Achilles injury really affects him. Like I said, I think that people are they've seen him pitch. They know how he pitches. They know where to expect the ball. Honestly, do you want to know what I think he needs to do? Throw a breaking ball and throw a four-seamer, and maybe people will start to respect the sinker again. But when you throw this pitch 90% of the time, it's like Chad Green. Someone's going to hit it. Like, they know it's coming. They're sitting dead red on Britton, and he's just getting screwed. He's got no chance. It's like Chapman. Same thing. Dead red.
And then we'll go ahead and, because we could talk about all three of the games the Yankees have played against the Orioles, but just because you mentioned it, we can kind of go backwards, I guess. I don't have any problem going backwards, but let's talk about the game that happened yesterday, the game that the Yankees just finished, where they got beat 6-1. And I think you already pretty much know how vocal I was about on Twitter. And, here's the thing. Here's the thing I'm going to say about this.
Was that the one that we lost to the Orioles for the first time since Manny Machado was an Oriole?
No, that was the second game of the doubleheader. I'm talking about the game that happened.
You're talking about the Garrett Cole one.
Yes. So I was very vocal about this on Twitter. Very vocal about this. I understand that Garrett Cole is an ace. I get it. I understand that even with the error, that atrocious error on a routine play that Urshela for all I know, Andujar probably makes the play. I don't know. It could happen. Happen. Who knows? Obviously Urshela makes that play in his sleep. Doesn't even have to try. Pretty much the majority of baseball players in this league, probably Devers could make that play. Nobody has to try. That's a routine play. So where I'm going with this is I understand Garrett Cole is an ace. Garrett Cole, no matter under which circumstances, he should be able to bounce back from anything that happens that his fielders, his defenders aren't helping him out with. Hypothetically, you're paid that much money to do that. However, here's the thing that I have a problem with. I think Garrett Cole pitched very well. And I'm one of those guys who I don't care what the pitcher can't control. I care about what the pitcher can control. Because a lot of people are like, oh, Garrett Cole had 5 runs. And I'm like, he only allowed 1 earned run. And that was the solo home run. That's it. That's all.
The inning was over.
Do you know why he only allowed 1 earned run and had 5 runs in general? Because Tyler Estrada butchered the easiest routine play, and here's the problem I have. I get it. I understand. Garrett Cole is paid the big bucks to come to New York and pitch like an ace. I get it. But when Tyler Estrada butchers that easy play that should have been the second out of the inning, and then Garrett Cole comes right back out and strikes the guy out, that should be the end of the inning, period.
Over.
It should be game over. It should still be a 1-run ball game. Now from there...
Right.
From there, I don't know what happens. I can't tell you if the Yankees win that game because the Yankees only end up scoring 1 run anyways. Who knows? Who knows what happens? But at the end of the day, I can't blame Garrett Cole. Estrada has got to make that play. I don't care if it's Estrada. I don't care if it's Glaber. I don't care if it's Wade. I don't care who it was. You make that play, period. You cannot butcher that play. And that's why the Yankees lost. It's not Garrett Cole. It was simply Estrada. That's all there is to it.
He's a utility infielder. He should have made that play. I'm pretty sure that was the only ball he had to. Honestly, he messed it up. Like, please, like I would take Plank from Ed Nettie. You put him at third. Like he may not make the play at first, but at least he won't make an error. Come on, somebody. How hard is this? It's every day. You pick the ball up and you throw it at first. That's your job. Seriously, if I was this bad at my job, I'd be fired. But these clowns can't throw the ball to first base. What good are you? Miguel Andujar made a great double play ball, by the way, yesterday. But Tyler Estrada can't do it. I would have been so mad if he didn't get on base in the last inning. I'd be screaming, which this isn't me screaming yet. This is me just angry. But, like, he is like a black hole in this lineup right now. Everyone's like, oh, Tyler Estrada, he's so good. He's so good. Why is he so bad right now?
And if you don't know what he's talking about, I will help you out because I brought up the numbers. Now, these are numbers from the last 2 weeks specifically. So this is from August 22nd to September 5th. So pretty much a 2-week span.
If he's not hitting zero.
And here's what I'm looking at, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Yankees offense in a nutshell lately. And this is why John and I and pretty much the entire fan base is so frustrated. And everybody has a right to. I'm going to go down this list. And this is what they've been doing. This is what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks. So at the very bottom, you have Mike Tauchman, a negative .5 WAR. I'm not an average guy, but he's hitting a .077. He's doing nothing.
What's Mike Tauchman's average on fastballs in the zone?
You have Mike Ford.
Wait, hold on, what's Mike Tauchman's average on fastballs in the zone? You know this.
0.
This season.
A 0%.
0. What are you hitting then? Why are you swinging the balls out of the zone?
So we have Tauchman at negative .5 WAR and hitting a .077. Then you have Mike Ford, not Tauchman, Mike Ford, which is John's favorite player. Mike Ford. As much as I loved Mike Ford last year, he had a lot of awesome moments last year. He's been bad, very bad. He's hitting 111 right now with a negative .3 WAR. Then you go to Miguel Andujar. He's hitting Miguel Andujar surprisingly has been really
worst hitter we have.
I mean Miguel Andujar's sample size has been a lot less, but he's hitting 308 with a 357 on base percentage. I mean it's solid. If as sad as it is that's solid. So
here's my question about Mike Ford. Now, I may be biased because I literally sat through watching him play through a doubleheader and go 0 for 8, making 9 outs on the base path. But can someone explain to me how him, a lefty who is literally a launch angle hitter twice, cannot get a run in from third with less than 2 outs? Like, how is that possible? How is your game literally get the ball in the air and you can't do it? How do you do that? What's your problem? How do you make 9 outs in a day?
So just to go through each person like really rapidly quickly. So right now, Tauchman has a negative .5 WAR. Like I said earlier, Ford negative .3 WAR.
I'm surprised.
Andujar a negative .1 WAR. Tyro Estrada, the guy who everybody thinks apparently is God sent, heaven sent, is a player.
Right now, I haven't seen it yet. Like, show me something. The only thing he's done is he got hit by a pitch I could do that. Put me in the game. I have a higher WAR than him.
He has a negative .1 WAR with he's hitting 118. Then you have Tyler Wade hitting 140.
118. Oh my god.
You have both Tyler Wade and Gary Sanchez both hitting 143 with a 0.0 F4, so not a negative, not a positive. As much as I love Aaron Hicks I still believe is a very good player in a sense that he's elite at walking, very high on base percentage. Aaron Hicks is a .1 WAR, Brett Gardner a .1 F4, Eric Kratz has a .2 F4, ladies and gentlemen. Kratz has been hitting better than the majority of hitters in the league.
Kratz, top 5 on this team, baby. Come on down.
And I literally just talked, not even, a week ago now, that I thought the whole ordeal with, Sanchez and Kratz, the whole debate just made no sense. But now it's like, wow, Kratz, he's Barry Bonds compared to everybody else in this lineup right now. And I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so you have Eric Kratz, and you have Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt has been doing good. He's coming down a little bit, but he's still a good, solid, consistent hitter, and he's on a bad foot too. So give the guy a break. He's doing fine. And then you have
the rest of this lineup. He's hitting 278. He's in another stratosphere from these peasants in our lineup.
And then you have DJ. DJ's doing DJ things. I'm not worried about DJ. Clint Frazier has been really solid. Clint Frazier has a .2 F4, 131 WRC plus in the last 2 weeks. I know these are all small sample sizes, but we're just trying to make a point of how bad they've been playing as of lately. And then at the very top of the list, which he just went down on the IL, Gio Urshela, a .4 WAR. He's been killing it the last 2 weeks. This season in general, Urshela has been playing really well, just like he played last year. I can't complain about Urshela, but I need him back.
God.
But
he plays third baseman like a concert pianist. It's amazing.
Oh my god!
It's so smooth. And then
I miss him
and then
so
you
much.
Watch the other people in our lineup, and you watch them play third base like a dumpster falling down a staircase. like they're the glass bones and paper man guy from SpongeBob, who they break their arms and legs every night. Come on,
it's literally like that running gag in SpongeBob where he goes, "My leg!" Like, it's literally, it's so crazy how light years better Urshela is compared to Andujar. And then that experiment with Estrada at third, I'm just like, I don't want to see it anymore. I'm just done with it.
I'm gonna go bring it to
I don't
yesterday because I want to relive the pain.
The only reason that Estrada was playing third was because Boone wanted DJ out, even though DJ clearly said, I don't want to be out. I want to play. DJ wanted to play.
There's 3 weeks left in the season. We need him to play games. Oh, let's just rest our best hitter because he needs off days. If he needs off days, then don't let him play the fucking season. If you can't play for 3 weeks straight, you're not a baseball player. Pete Alonso played 161 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
That's a good point. Very good point.
How many times? I want to see Digital Mayhew stats. How many games has this guy missed, other than the times he's been actually legitimately hurt? Why do you rest him? We need to win games. We're literally in danger of missing the playoffs at this point, and I don't care. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna make the playoffs. It's not gonna be a big deal." We're like the 8th seed right now, because I'm pretty sure Toronto won today.
Mm-hmm. Here's the crazy thing. John. I want you to put this into perspective. I want you to put this into perspective and really think about it. Are you ready for this? So when I'm looking at the Yankees as far as not just the last 2 weeks, but since the beginning of the season, Eric Kratz is 8th in F4 with a 0.3 F4. Do you know how many people he has a higher F4 in such a small limited amount of plate appearances because the Yankees can't find a way to hit themselves out of a wet paper bag? Are you ready for this list? This is insane.
On the Yankees, or you mean like in MLB?
Just the Yankees right now.
Okay, I'm gonna say he has a higher F4 than everybody but 2 people.
No, he's 8th. He's 8th right now.
Oh, he's 8th among Yankees.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you meant he's like 8th in the MLB.
No. Not even close. No. He's higher than Gardner.
Of course.
Then Sanchez. So, my whole argument about Gary Sanchez is just making my whole entire argument look just terrible. Like, he's just not the hitter that we've known and loved since his debut with the Yankees. You know, he's among all qualified catchers since pretty much his debut. He's hit more home runs than everybody, and his slugging is up there, and his WOBA is up there, and his WRC plus is up there, and he's got a good F4, and he's not doing what I want him to do, and it's very disappointing. Anyways, he also has a higher. He has a high. Oh, awesome! So my friend, our good friend Seth.
In the 7th to win at 7-6.
Our good friend Seth can stop complaining because he was like, "Oh, the Angels aren't winning," and I'm like, "Seth, the Angels literally won earlier today. What do you mean?"
Bad. I can't even say the Astros are bad this year because we look like we're terrible.
Okay, so continuing on that. So here's the deal.
Sorry, I get it.
He has a higher F4 also than, well, obviously this is a given, but Jordy Mercer, Estevan Florial, Tyro Estrada, you get where I'm coming from. It's just, oh man, it's just.
Do you want me to lay some information on you right now?
It's so bad. I'm really trying to be positive. I'm trying so hard to be positive right now, but there's very few things to be positive about.
For your world. So, do you remember the guy who pitched the no-hitter for the Yankees? I already mentioned him earlier, Jim Abbott, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Abbott. Jim Abbott has a career batting average of .95. .95! He hit .95 with one fucking arm! And Gary has 2 working arms! And he can't hit better than that guy! I'm out of words!
There's, like, that's literally where we're getting to on this podcast right now. I'm getting to the point where...
third on this team! Jason Sabathier's career batting average is .205!
You know,
I don't want to yell about this team. This team makes me so angry. I don't want to sit here. Look, if they're winning, I wouldn't be sitting here yelling at them. But they pay against this guy on the Orioles who's a nobody. The other day, he was calling numbers at a bingo hall. He comes in today. He's got 2 first names like Ricky Bobby at Talladega Nights, and he throws a perfect game. He outpitched Garrett Cole. Give him a $500 million contract.
For real.
What do you want? The Orioles have... There's nobody pitching for the Orioles.
They completely used everybody in their bullpen, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in their starting rotation.
Go work on your putts somewhere else.
Yeah, that's pretty much the point that we've gotten to this podcast. I mean, we pretty much went as far as we could. I don't have anything other than to say.
I don't know what to say.
I have no words. I'm just extremely disappointed. I tweeted this out earlier. I was like, I'm pretty much at that point where I'm just like, nothing surprises me anymore. And this team just seems like it lacks any will to win in their veins. Like, there's no will to win. I don't get it. I really don't. Like, why can't we have last season where we had a savage?
By the way, that was a good throw.
Like why can't we have like we had last year where we had the savages in the box and people getting pissed off and wanting to win? It just seems like nobody
hit 200.
Nobody has any ounce of just will in their mind, will in the way that they carry themselves in their body language. It just seems like nobody's getting angry. Nobody seems like I'm not gonna go out here and claim that a guy like
Maybe
like Luke Voigt or something. I'm not going to say that a guy like Luke Voigt or Garrett Cole doesn't care about winning. Obviously, they care about winning, but it's like, why can't I see an ounce of care from anybody else in this team that's not named DJ LeMahieu, Luke Voigt, and I don't know, like Gary Sanchez? He just doesn't seem like he is doing anything productive to want to better himself.
He struck out the other day and went like, he just struck out, went, that's it. That's all I got.
It's like... There's literally no emotion from anybody.
Teddy bear.
It's kind of like you said. I don't remember if you said it on a podcast. I think you might have just said it in Discord. But it's kind of like, I want to see something like Pete Alonso snapping his bat over his leg in half. Like, why can't we have
the crap out of a garbage can? Show some emotion. You're losing to a AAA lineup. I mean, that's not saying much. We have a AA lineup. My God. Maybe from now on, they should go up to the plate with only one arm. Swing with the one arm because they might be do better with that. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's
something goes right for us right now.
It's pretty much it. And
this team is banged 250 against the shift. The Major League average is 300. Swing the other way. Hit the other way. Do something. Change it up. This isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
You're killing me. I'm not gonna have a voice tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm already losing my voice right now.
Come on.
Yeah, that's about it. That's it. That's all I got.
You've got these 3 people in our bullpen, like, right? Like, you've got Zach Britton, Chad Green, and you've got Chapman, and all of them are predominantly one-pitch pitchers. Like, am I wrong? Like, you've got Britton with the sinker, you've got Chad Green with the four-seamer up top, and then you've got Chapman, who basically also features a four-seamer. And you know what? They're getting killed. Do something else. Throw breaking balls. Chad Green, he has a breaking ball. It's been kind of effective. Chapman has been working on the slider. Britton's also got the breaking ball. You know what? Throw them. Start them out with a breaking ball. Stop throwing first pitch fastball, because you know what? They're sitting on it and they're killing it. How the hell does Chapman against the Mets give up a home run? Like, Billy Hamilton gave you the game. Like, he tries to steal third, gets thrown out. You're just like, oh, fantastic. We're going to win this game. It's going to be great. No, Chapman throws an 0-2, 95-mile-an-hour meatball to J.D. Davis. I think it was J.D. Davis. I don't know. I kind of blocked it out of my memory because it was so dramatic. You can't be serious. You cannot throw him a dead center fastball 0-2 and expect not to get destroyed, because he destroyed it. He did what he's supposed to do. Unlike our team, who couldn't hit a beach ball if they tried.
Did you get all your anger and emotions out, John? I got nothing.
I could go for 2 more hours on this topic, but I'm not going to, because then I'm not going to be able to talk tomorrow.
I got nothing left in the tank. I've expressed everything that I need to express.
I am so mad at this team right now.
This team is
serious. And you know what's depressing is they don't care, but I care.
It seems like
the anger on this clubhouse. Like, God, you've got Aaron Boone, who goes to the press conference after the game. He's like, you know what? There's some good things we saw out there today. The only good thing was you took a good shit after the game in the toilet. That's the only good thing. What do you mean the good things happening in the game? You gave up 5-6 runs to the Orioles, and it took Clint Frazier till the 7th inning to hit 1 out.
And that's it. Nothing else. Completely dead and flat. Other than one bomb from Clint Frazier, which is dead.
I know Aaron Boone is not going to throw his players on the bus, but don't lie to my face and tell me that was I saw good things. No, you didn't.
You are basically like my anger displayed in a human being. Like, everything that I am thinking about in my mind right now, and everything I've been thinking about in my mind for the past, 2 weeks or so, is literally what you just expressed. I don't need to say anything. This team just needs to play better. It's as simple as that. Play better, show emotion. That's all I can say. I got nothing.
I don't care about batting average, but for the love of God, can you hit with runners at scoring position? Please. The Orioles didn't even get a person in scoring position until the 7th inning or the 6th inning, and they hit half of them in. What happened with also, by the way, that was just a quick question. I'm gonna come back to that. I need to calm down. But look, my blood pressure's getting up. But what happened in that inning with Cole, where somehow there was a double on fan interference? Like, what happened with that? That was the most bizarre thing, and then they ruled it a fan interference. 2 runs, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Are you kidding me? I don't know. Look, shoot Mike Ford in the sun, okay?
It's just
Mike Ford can go float down the Hudson River for all I care, and he can just go sit on a beach in Jersey. Just get out of here, please. Stop it.
I was just gonna say, with that whole ordeal where it was apparently fan interference or whatever, I got nothing. One second it's fair, 1 second it's foul, the next second it's fair. I don't know. It's just
remember Miguel Andujar. He hits a squib in front of the home plate, and he doesn't run. I don't care. If you hit the ball, you run.
Yep. I mean, they would literally teach you that in literally baseball and T-ball to run no matter where you hit it. If it goes foul, run.
Less than the interstate you rode in on. Run to first base. You almost hit into a double play. Mm-hmm. And then Frazier gets thrown at third. What are you doing? Why are you going to third?
To be fair, though,
anyway.
to be fair about him getting thrown out at third, the Orioles didn't even challenge that call. Like, that's so absurd.
Who challenged it? They challenged it. Oh, the umpires challenged it?
Yes, it wasn't even the Orioles. That's what's so BS about the call.
I heard they challenged it and he's out. But I'm just saying, who was up at the plate at the time? It was Frazier on second, and it was the guy after Miguel Andujar. So that must have been what? Sanchez? No. I forget who was at bat. Was it the guy after Sanchez? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter where you are. If you're on second, there's 2 outs, you're running, you can score from second. You don't have to be a third. Because there's no benefit to be a third. Because it's not like it's a sack fly situation. Just don't stop making out on the base paths. Just stop it. We've had like 4 or 5 really bad outs on the bases this week. 2 by Tyler Wade, 1 by Frazier, and Miguel Andujar, who just decides he doesn't want to run. What, are you tired? You're not playing in the field.
Yep, pretty much. You nailed
I'm
it in the coffin.
There's nothing here for me to throw. Everything's nailed down. I want to throw something.
More like I'm gonna throw up.
Damn, come on.
Do you want something? There we go. That was a good throw. That's a major league level throw right there. So there you go. Major league level throw.
I'm done. I'm good. I'm out of things to say right now. I'm just.
Alrighty, that's about it. I got nothing in the tank. He's got nothing in the tank. He expressed his emotion. I expressed my emotion. I could have done a lot
If we
more.
lose tomorrow, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You know what's bad? It's bad when I wake up and I'm like, how are we gonna lose this game today?
Is it bad that every time I click and go and watch the game on the Yes broadcast, I always immediately think,
how are we gonna lose this game? Who's gonna hit the home run today?
Well, every time it's just gotten so bad to the point where every time I watch the game before even the first pitch is thrown, I'm just sitting here like. I just let out a big sigh. I'm like, do I really want to do this tonight? Do I really want to deal with more heartbreak tonight? Because it just seems like a common theme throughout the entire season without Judge and Stanton and at least Glaber. If there's any silver lining, Glaber Torres looked good at the plate. That's about it.
You're tuned in because you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch Judge or I'm gonna watch Torres play the Orioles. No, this year you're just like you turn it on and then you feel sick and you got to run to the bathroom. And then you come back, and they've all struck out. God.
Alrighty.
Anyway, I'm good.
That's about it. That's about it for.
I'm gonna go drink some vodka, and I'm gonna go get through these emotions, because I can't handle this. And if we lose tomorrow, if we lose 3 out of 4 of the Orioles, just cancel the season. I'm sorry. Everyone's like, oh, this will make us the 8th seed. Oh, I can't wait to go. 1 seed, and then have Garrett Cole throw up on the first game, and then be like, "There's still a chance." Judge isn't going to be back to the playoffs if there are playoffs.
Alrighty, well, that's about it from John and I. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Even though there's nothing but a lot of negativity, we're just gonna say it how it is. We're not gonna sugarcoat anything.
I'm positive that we're gonna lose.
All right. Well, hopefully the Orioles do not win the game today, and the Yankees actually come out and start swinging the bat, and the pitching is a lot better.
I'll go to church on Sunday if we win.
And that's a rarity.
I'm begging you.
That's a rarity right there. You should definitely look into that. That's a good bet right there, John. That's a really solid bet right there.
I don't even want to. What's the line tomorrow? The game tomorrow. Do I even want to look it up? I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the Orioles are the favorite. Who are they pitching tomorrow anyway? Oh, it doesn't matter because we can't hit people who have no names anyway.
It is Mr. Masahiro Tanaka who is pitching tomorrow. I do know that much.
No, that much. I'm saying.
Or today, technically, whatever you want to say.
If the Orioles are TBD tomorrow, we're losing. I'm sorry. I don't like to be negative, but I've
No. It's Mr. Whoosh. Mr. Whoosh.
Oh. Chowski?
Mr. Asher Whoosh.
That means we have a chance.
Yeah. So, I can't imagine there's anything else you want to say. So, I'm about ready.
The line.
I'm about ready.
Close.
I'm ready.
I don't understand.
I'm ready to head to bed. That's where I'm at right now. So, is there anything else you want to say?
I have nothing else to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. This team is a joke. This team is annoying me. I'm not even look. I don't like being negative. If I had positive things to say about this, I'd say them. But this team looks like it's trending so hard in the wrong direction. I'm not sure what happened from last season to this season, but for the love of God, this team just could not win a game of Connect 4 right now, and I'm genuinely afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, something needs to change, and I don't know what it is. I'm not paid to make that decision, but please make a change. Someone wake up and realize the situation we're in, and somebody out there needs to get angry other than me and you.
All
and
right.
every other
Well, that's pretty much your last words. The last thing I'm going to say is
can go home. Just send him home.
the last thing I'm going to say is 1, play better and wake up. 2, show some emotions. And 3, please start winning. That's all I got. So,
What time is the game tomorrow?
well, this will actually be uploaded before the game, a few hours, hopefully, or an hour or so before the game. But it's actually at 12:05 Central, I think 1:05.
Okay, so 1:05 Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I hope the players know what time the game starts because it's like they don't show up till the 7th inning.
All right. Well, hope all of you enjoy the podcast as much as we do ranting, even though it's not always the good thing, but it is good to get out a bunch of very pent-up emotions and frustration. Hope you guys did enjoy the podcast. Hopefully the Yankees win. You guys enjoy the rest of your game. And see you guys later for the next podcast.
See you guys later.